you go to the river, you go to pool parties, you make best friends with everybody, everybody's so social and friendly. I mean, make 10, 20 new friends every single day, you know, and always run into people that I know everywhere I'm at. So it's like one of the coolest places that I've ever been in my entire life. And so then I decided I was going to come to school here, and coming to school, initially started studying like radio, television, mass communications, that I wanted to go to radio, television, but I was doing a lot of stuff with fashion design and designing Kittens and other things like that. And a lot of my friends had told me that they really thought I should pursue something that, you know, catered more to those talents that I had. And I didn't really have any interest in doing anything in fashion. I thought it was kind of dumb, to be honest. Why would I want to do that? It makes no sense to me. But through hearing it from so many people, I decided to give it a chance and took some classes in the fashion program and just fell in love with it. For me, it was the coolest thing ever to be able to see how a brand like Gucci or Louis Vuitton or Christian Dior goes from just being like some guy like learning how to make shoes or make shirts and stuff like that, all the way into becoming a major fashion empire, you know, like Louis Vuitton, you know, all those big names that are out there. And so through the course of my studies at Texas State, I was able to go to Costa Rica for a summer, a little off topic, but went out there, studied Spanish for a summer, and then with the fashion program, I was able to study in New York for a little while, and then I also worked in Vegas with a lot of clothing brands from all over the world as well. So my experience in the fashion industry just totally blew my mind. It was like, this is a place where I want to be at. I mean, hanging out with celebrities, rock stars, backstage and stuff, and it just was the awesomest experience ever. And then when I was doing all these things, I was getting a lot of opportunities to move and go somewhere else, like move to Los Angeles or New York, where I thought I was going to end up at. I thought that was the place for me. I was like, I need to get out of Texas, need to go explore, spread my horizons, do something big with my life. You know, I don't want to just stay here and do nothing. You know, it's kind of how I felt. But in order for me to get from point A to point B, I literally, which was moving to Los Angeles, I was like, I need to have a lot of money, because it takes you need to have about 6 months to 8 months of 6 months to 8 months worth of savings from what I did my research on when I moved to LA or New York, just because it's so expensive to live there, you know. Well, during the meantime, and I knew during this time that I was going to at some point have a clothing brand in my life. I just thought I was going to be way further down the road. I didn't foresee it being anywhere in the near future. But I was going to have to move out to Los Angeles, learn from the industry, work my way up, make my connections, and then be able to do something with the fashion industry. Well, I was, you know, I still had that job that you have in college at the outlet mall, you know. Who in here works at the outlet mall? The only person, I'm so surprised. I figured like 90% of you what you were going to do. Well, anyways, worked at the outlet mall for a while, and then after I graduated, stayed with the same company, it was sold to the sunglass store. And then I ended up moving to Austin. But I was just still making barely enough money to like do anything with, you know, paycheck to paycheck, typical college scenario, same thing was going on. And I was like, well, in order for me to where I want to get where I'm going to go, I really need to have some kind of financial backing. You know, my parents, I really don't want to ask them for money, just like they gave me a lot of money in college, and I kind of want to do this on my own. So I started to put together my strategy, my game plan. I was like, how am I going to get financing to get to California, or just to do anything in general? Well, one of my really good friends, he was working at Verizon Wireless, which is kind of random. He was working there, he was making really good money, he encouraged me to look into it. Me, I was kind of a job snob, which I wouldn't say to be that way, but I was like, I'm way too cool to work at Verizon, I'm not going to sell cell phones, are you kidding me? Like, get out of here, you know? But then when I found out the type of money that he was making there, I was very impressed. I said, holy crap, I'll sign me up, you know? And I knew that was going to be my stepping stone to be able to get financial backing to do what I wanted to do. Well, started working at Verizon, and I was living in Austin, but then I was driving back down to San Marcos to work at the store here. I was like, crap, it took me so long to get out of here, you know, driving back to work in San Marcos. It was just kind of frustrating, you know? But while being here, it just brought up all the old emotions and feelings and things about this town that I fell in love with as being a student here. And while I was a student here, one of the most important things for me that I could not find was a shirt that says San Marvelous on it. I wanted to have something that I was going to be able to take with me for forever, something that I can take with me when I move to LA, whenever I go to New York, or start getting into a lot of fashion photography and stuff also. So I was like, all the memories of me and my best friends going into the river, going to the pool parties, being on campus, the all-nighters, like the best friends that you only make in one place. You only get to make in one place like this, you know. So it was really an emotional thing for me, and I looked for shirts, couldn't find any shirts anywhere. And so meanwhile, I'm thinking about moving to LA or New York, but at the same time, I was like, well, I started looking into the shirt option, and then started to realize that there was a great opportunity there. And this is where being an entrepreneur and, kind of analyzing scenarios where you can find a void and niche in the marketplace. As an entrepreneur, with anything, or looking for a business venture, something you should do, always try to find something that the market wants, but that is not there yet. Perfect example, Apple. Came up with the iPhone, and everybody in the world has an iPhone. We didn't know we wanted that, but Steve Jobs was a genius enough to think about that 10, 20 years before we ever knew what the idea of an iPhone was. But that's something huge. But this right here is something we didn't reinvent the wheel. We just took something that was very simple. I started making T-shirts. For myself, I'm gonna tell you right now, I was very selfish about it. I didn't care about making shirts for anybody else. I just wanted to say Marvelous shirts for me, and then I was gonna move to LA. That was the game plan. Well, when I started making shirts, my friends started coming to my house, and they loved them. They bought all my shirts. They went crazy. And so then I made a few more shirts and just kept going and going. And then I called a trademark attorney. Hey, I was 100% sure somebody had already trademarked the word "say Marvelous." For me, that was the most obvious thing in the world. I was like, it's like walking by a golden rock on the road and nobody picking it up because they're afraid of it. They don't think it's real gold or something. And when I was in college, I kept thinking, that'd be so cool to have a Say Marvelous shirt. That'd be so cool to have a Say Marvelous shirt. And graduated, the whole situation happened with Verizon, and then next thing I know, I was like, okay, I was even talking about parents, I was like, this is a scenario I'm thinking, but this market's going to be here for forever. Texas State's not going to go anywhere, and forever we're going to identify this place as Say Marvelous, And don't get me wrong, I have tons of maroon and gold shirts that are from the bookstore, and I wear them all the time. But I felt like there was a lot more to this university than just the maroon and gold shirts in the bookstore. I would have friends from Texas Tech, from Baylor, from A&M, from UT, that had the coolest T-shirts all the time, and it drove me crazy. And I'm like, man, none of our shirts are that cool, That's kind of frustrating for myself because I like to wear things that are different, you know what I mean? And so as time went along, I started to drop the idea and the game plan, and how I would approach it, what I would do, and how much money it would take. And I started talking to my parents, and they're being very helpful with a lot of this stuff. And for the course of 4 years, I was studying fashion photography. I was actually going to New York shooting fashion week and doing a lot of stuff like that. But started to build up a lot of things in my arsenal that I knew that I needed in order for myself to be able to succeed at the next level. And from my perspective, what I really needed to have was photography skills. Because whenever you go into a website or a product or a company, you look at their website and you see their pictures and they're awesome, you're like, they're legit. This is real. That's my impression. And so for me, and I just fell in love with photography. I'm obsessed with it. That's the thing that I want to do more than anything else, is photography. You guys what pizza? Or pizza over here. So I was obsessed with photography, and I started I started to become more in love with that than with anything else. But I knew I started to do Say Marvelous, but I'll spend 80% of my time on photography and 20% on Say Marvelous. And I noticed it was lacking so much attention, and it wasn't growing, it wasn't developing. And I was like, I had to come to the realization of how important it was for me to start making sacrifices for things that I wanted to do, or to readjust things. That way I could make all of the things that I wanted to do work together. So for me, having a background in fashion, a background in graphic design, and things like that, I then started to merge the ideas of those things together. That way I could I can do my photography, I can do the clothing brand and stuff like that. So through the course of 4 years, I worked at Verizon, did Say Marvelous, worked on both of those things. And I probably worked about 8 or 9 hours at Verizon, and then I would get out and work like another 8 hours on Say Marvelous. So I'd be working until like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, get up and do it again. I did this for 4 years straight. And in the course of this time, it was a great learning process because there's so many times that you run into obstacles. There's so many times that you run into situations where you want to give up and you want to quit, and you're like, should I really be doing this? Like, it's Friday and Saturday night, and all of your friends are going out. They're all partying, sending you pictures from their phone. They're like, hey, get here right now. And that Friday and Saturday night, you've got to, as an entrepreneur, somebody who really wants to be successful, you have to be willing to sacrifice those Friday and those Saturday nights. You have to be willing to do things that nobody else is willing to do in order to push yourself to reach the levels that you want to reach, And I've read so many books on CEOs, like people who've been really successful, from Michael Jordan to Donald Trump, and the drive that they have is, it just blows my mind. And me, I just want a little piece of that drive, But for instance, Michael Jordan, I always talk about him. They don't have no idea who Michael Jordan is, and over here like, Tell them boys. Michael Jordan, you know. Tell stories. But I mean, you know, I mean, everybody knows a lot of the stories of him if you do or not. But I mean, he would be the first person in the gym and the last person to leave it early. You know, like he won it more than anybody else, and he showed it on the court. Like he dominated teams all by himself. So I wanted that drive, and I wanted that ferociousness to where no matter what it was I did in life, it was like I'm going to go out here and I'm going to kill it. Like I will not rest until I'm able to achieve the goals and accomplish what I'm after. You know, and like I said, Marvelous product. It was a great opportunity for me to start honing all my skills together and to help, in my opinion, do everything I could to give something back to this university in a way that made it different, us more unique, you know, because there is no other college town in this country that has a name as Awesome San Marvelous, you know. When you break down the word San and Marvelous, the word San means saint. Marvelous means awesome, legendary, you know, epic. I mean, that's pretty cool, you know. We're that town, that's who we are, you know. So then as things go along, I mean, I've had all your hard work will start to attract a lot of people to you as you're starting to become successful. And when those things are happening, then you have to make tons of difficult decisions where you're like, is this a good decision for my company or is it a bad decision for my company? And people sometimes are going to get upset with you when you tell them no. You know, they're expecting you to say yes to them, whatever the situation is. But you know, we just have to think about the integrity of the brand and what your image is to, you know, your demographic and your market whenever you're doing, you know, whatever your goals are or chasing your dreams. But as time went along, things started really developing. Whenever the Texas State and Texas Tech football game was going on, we had just made our first neon color apparel tank tops with American Apparel. And I didn't even know how it was going to go. I was kind of nervous. Like, you make a lot of stuff and nobody likes it. You're sitting here with, you know, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000 worth of stuff and nobody wants it, you know, so you're kind of screwed. Your whole business can crumble immediately, you know. And fortunately enough, I was able to make some good decisions on designs and stuff. And then it was a rally on the square where they shut down the entire square. And there was a whole bunch, it's like a big carnival over there. I don't know if y'all were there, but it was a really fun time. Whoever wasn't there that last time, y'all should go this time. But so my friend from Print This, he's the owner of a t-shirt printing place. He had a booth set up out there, and us, we're like so young to everything, we don't know what's going on. But he's like, hey, I got a spot at the end of my table if you want that, you know, just to be nice, and as a kind gesture. And so I was like, cool, man, thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. So not knowing what to expect, we're bringing, you know, still 200-300 shirts out there with us, and in about 2.5 hours, we sold out of everything. Like, it was crazy. I was like, holy crap. Like, I did not know people were going to like this that much, you know? And it was overwhelming, and we were all staring at each other like we did. I mean, it was a really neat experience, you know? And the next day was tailgate, and we had about 400 more tanks with us there. Well, we went through those 400 tanks, like, really fast, and then we continued to have people that were coming to the table that were really wanting to buy shirts, and we were at them. We ended up having to literally sell shirts 4 times off of our backs to people, and they were sweating and gross. I was like, why would you want this shirt? Like, hey, whatever, you know, customer service. But so that was like an early, you know, success to what we were doing, and then the momentum started building, and then for me, like with the photography and stuff, and knowing what I like for the brand and what sells, you know, I wanted to incorporate a group of people and the product and what we're doing to represent the brand and represent the university in different ways, and for different events and stuff we do. So then we had a group of girls that we had for a river event that Texas State Tubes had us involved with, and it's a really fun event, but you know, then I started kind of putting together the name of a group of girls, and we had all kinds of random names or dumb names and stuff. It's not a good one. But then we started looking more at the university and like how we're incorporating with it, and you know, the student body and stuff. And we're called the Bobcats, you know. And one thing I could think of that would be really cute to associate with Bobcats would be Kitten, you know. And so that's kind of where the whole San Marvelous Kittens formulated from, and that's been a whole fun project in itself. I mean, we look for very diverse people that have, you know, very smart, forward-thinking, you know, knowledgeable of fashion, knowledgeable of what the university wants, you know, that are, you know, we do our best to find people that are like kind of leaders in the school, you know. And we were very fortunate. The first couple of girls that we had, one of them, she went to be a journalist in Thailand. The second one was Miss United States. A few other ones worked with big advertising agencies. So we tried best to surround ourselves with people that are forward-thinking. They're always like very sharp and on top of what is that's going on. And
as you guys are at some point of having your business and hiring people, looking for people, most important thing is to surround yourself with people that have real positive attitudes, have good energy, they're enthusiastic, and want to be there. Because once you get that person on the team that starts to become a negative person, a thorn in your side, it really becomes a cancer, and it's cancerous for the rest of the team. And in order for, the way I look at it is like I'm a coach in a team, it's like you want to build a team that's prepared to go win a championship, you know? And you need that chemistry on the team. So from the person that does their graphic design to pictures to anybody in general, it's just really important that you surround yourself with people that bring out the best in yourself. And, I've talked a lot, but